It's 3:15, and that means it's time for
The Real Deal with Bill McNeil.
That's right. Welcome once again to The Real Deal with Bill McNeil. I'm your host, Bill McNeil, and you're probably wondering exactly what is the real deal today.
Hey, good question.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes, and we've got some interesting news coming out of the Marvel solicitations for June 2021. Now, those are out in full, and this video isn't quite about that. I want to talk about the big information that was released in there. Tomorrow, I'll talk about the solicitations in full. Ta-Nehisi Coates, who we knew has wrapped up or is about to wrap up his run on Black Panther, his second run on Black Panther, I think at issue 25. The only series he had left was Captain America, and that is also wrapping up in June. So issue number 30 will be the last issue of Ta-Nehisi Coates on Captain America. I think a lot of people will probably be pretty happy about this. He was always an odd choice just for comic books in general. Started out more of as an essayist, an opinion maker. He has some pretty controversial opinions, if you ask me, but he hadn't ever really had a lot of experience writing action-based stories. I think it's certainly shown through with his initial Black Panther run, where there was a lot of world building and there's a lot of, he was working on a lot of lore. I don't think a lot was accomplished as far as getting people excited. The sales weren't all that good. Although I will admit, the Wakanda that you see in the MCU, and I've mentioned this on the channel before, is almost completely visually kind of derived from that Black Panther run by Ta-Nehisi Coates, with a lot of influence and respect to Brian Stelfreeze, the artist on that one. He had a lot to do with, obviously, with that as well. But you can't say it was all the artists. Obviously, Ta-Nehisi Coates gave him some direction. They worked together and they collaborated. So he definitely had a big hand in that as well. But as far as the character of Black Panther, I don't think he did a lot. Now with Captain America, I would say he's done even less. So his Captain America run began with Cap as the most wanted man in America. Never seen that story before. And it is ending with Captain America fighting the Red Skull. Never seen that story before. It was a lot of retread of popular story moments from Cap's history, with a lot of social commentary thrown in the middle. The only thing of note that I can think of, I think he created the Daughters of Liberty. Don't think they're going to make a big impact as far as the future of Marvel Comics. We might not even never see them again. They weren't all that interesting. This was a weird comic book run. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy it, but nobody was talking about it because it was, quite frankly, boring. And at this point, with everything that's gone on with Marvel, since 2012, I think people are just numb to the social commentary and the things that a writer like Ta-Nehisi Coates and some of the other writers at Marvel bring to the table. It's no longer even outrageous anymore. You just roll your eyes and move on to the next comic book, and you just drop it. You stop reading the series. I think fans have been trained. You might want to lose the hope, because you're just going to be sticking around for something that's just not going to get better until there's a new creative team. And I think that's kind of the way that Captain America's run under Ta-Nehisi Coates has been viewed. And I don't think he's got a lasting legacy really with the character very much, in my own personal opinion. Unfortunately for Ta-Nehisi Coates, maybe the most notable thing about his run on Captain America is issue 3, where Sharon Carter becomes Iron Patriot and she's screaming "Yes, Queen" as she's fighting somebody. And then there's another, and Captain America was third fiddle in his own comic book. I think even Marvel understood that Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America wasn't very good. No one really wanted it. And people weren't even all that offended by it anymore. It's just whatever. And did you ever see Marvel Comics promote Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America? Did they ever market the series? I think they knew it was kind of dead in the water in the moment that it arrived. Maybe it was contractual obligations, maybe when he signed on the dotted line, or it's somewhere in there that he got to have a certain amount of run on Captain America. They had to let him do it. But you could see it wasn't like Marvel Comics were even on board Ta-Nehisi Coates' Captain America. Not that they probably disagreed with him or anything, but it was what's the point of spending precious resources on this series that no matter what we do, it was never going to move. He's not a comic book writer. He never was he wasn't when he arrived, and he really isn't today. He's much better. If you read his second run on Black Panther, it's much more action oriented, but it's still not high quality comic book writing in my opinion. Some people might disagree with me. Now, some people are going to wonder, is this it? Is this the end of the road for Ta-Nehisi Coates at Marvel? My gut instinct would say yes, at least for the moment. Although Marvel has invested, some premier characters in Black Panther, Captain America, in Ta-Nehisi Coates, they've given him some pretty substantial runs. 25 issues on Black Panther in the second run, 30 issues on Captain America. I think the first run on Black Panther was that, for some reason the number 50 is in my head, but I might be wrong on that one. But he got these weren't miniseries, let's just put it that way. So he got some substantial time. So if he wants to come back to Marvel, I imagine they'll make some room for him. We'll probably see him in some anthologies, things of that nature, maybe a one-shot here or there. But I don't see Ta-Nehisi Coates writing anything ongoing, certainly not a major character. Like, where would he go? They're kind of all taken up right now. Iron Man just got relaunched. Obviously, he just finished up with Captain America and Black Panther. Thor is firmly under the control of Donny Cates. Don't see him ending his run anytime soon. Wolverine has new life under Ben Percy, or Spider-Man under Nick Spencer. It certainly feels like he's going to issue at least 100 with his one more day, story arc. So there's really not any room for him, and I don't think that he has really much use for Marvel much anymore. Just thinking about what Ta-Nehisi Coates was before he arrived at Marvel, he's an opinion maker. He's somebody out there that wants to affect change. I think at this point he's probably figured out that writing Black Panther and Captain America comics, no matter how much social commentary he puts in there, isn't really going to affect change because it's a pretty limited audience that have a pretty specific taste that he doesn't really fit. Now, will he get write-ups and stuff like that? Sure, he can get some publicity, but he's not going to get sales. If nobody reads the story, it doesn't matter what was in there to begin with. That's probably the biggest issue with Ta-Nehisi Coates at Marvel. Now, another question people are going to be asking, are there better days ahead for Captain America? Well, let's not, count your chickens before they hatch. You know what I'm saying? We can all say, well, now that Ta-Nehisi Coates is off of Captain America, it can only get better. Well, that's ridiculous. Things can get a bit worse. I don't know, is Iron Man worse under Christopher Cantwell than it was under Dan Slott? Well, I would say the current Iron Man's better than Iron Man 2020, but as far as is what he was doing before, it's just as bad. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. It's not much better. So just because there's change does not mean it's good change. And when's the last time we got an effective, competent run on Captain America? Like over 10 years ago, Ed Brubaker? It's the last one I can remember. And even that one isn't exactly the most classic take on the Captain America character. I loved it. I think Winter Soldier, Death of Captain America are classic storylines. I really enjoy them, but it's not exactly the most classic take on the character. And he wasn't even Captain America the whole time. There were lots of other Captain Americas during that run. So it's not like Marvel Comics has gotten the character right in any recent past. So based on, what is it Dr. Phil says? The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. Based on the recent past behavior of Marvel Comics, they're going to screw it up and they'll put somebody even worse in. Hey, feels like Dan Slott might be a little bit light in the workload. Wouldn't this be a perfect time to throw Dan Slott over on Captain America? Now that he's not on Tony Stark. I could definitely see that happen. And some people might say, well, let's do Mark Waid. Mark Waid certainly had a very good run that was unfortunately interrupted. But, his last foray into Captain America was like MODOK Donald Trump. Were those the heydays? Was that something, obviously it was abbreviated. Was that something worth writing home about? Likely not. It was pretty annoying. So you can even say just because they bring on somebody that's done well on the character in the past doesn't mean it's going to be good in the future. So I personally, I think it'll be like Dan Slott probably, but who would I personally want to write Captain America? These are just off the top of my head. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, Wes loves Chip Zdarsky. He thinks he's the best writer of Marvel. And that's true, but I don't want him even sniffing Captain America. Chip Zdarsky, while a very good writer, I think he has some I don't think Captain America is the right character for him just based on his antics and the things that I've seen him spread out as far as social media and just in general, some of the things that he champions. I don't know that Captain America is going to be the right character for him. Philip Kennedy Johnson, another writer that I'm very high on. He's been getting work at Marvel. He is an active duty member of the United States Army in the U.S. Army Band, and he's the writer of Superman now. Should you be writing Superman and Cap at the same time? Likely not. So I think that one takes him out. So these are the two fits at Marvel that I think would be good. Patrick Gleason, who obviously worked on Superman, was co-writing that with Peter J. Tomasi, was also doing a lot of work on Super Sons. He was supposed to come over and be like the big guy on Spider-Man. We haven't seen him all that much. He wrote an absolute banger. Well, he didn't really write it. If you read his one shot in Marvel Comics 1000, I think it's Marvel Comics 1000 of Captain America, it's really good. So I think he would be a good fit, although he did get his PP slapped on social media for being a little too pro-America recently. I mean, recently, I think it was about 12 months ago. The other creator I think would do a good job is Ben Percy. He's doing wonderful work on Wolverine. Obviously, his work on Wolverine seems to be X-Force seems to be atrophying. That series is going a bit downhill, but I think Ben Percy might do a good job. If you were thinking outside the box and thinking outside of Marvel, the two creators that would be kind of wild cards that I think would do great would be, I just mentioned him working with Patrick Gleason. Peter J. Tomasi comes over and does Captain America. He gets aspirational heroes. He definitely got Superman. And I imagine he's not happy with DC Comics. So I think that would be a good get and a good character creator match. Don't see Marvel doing that, but doesn't that be great? And the other one would be Matt Kent, who normally I would say is too low a profile, although he's had some like real classic stuff that's really well known in the indie scene, most notably Mind Management. But he's done some really good takes on action stories, during his time with Valiant. But also he's done that at Boom as well. But I think his profile is probably lifted, and it's a little bit higher now with his association with Berserker and the sales for that. So maybe you could get somebody like Matt Kent over. I think that would be a really good fit as well. But it's going to be Dan Slott. I hate to burst all of our bubbles. So that's the news. Ta-Nehisi Coates' days on Captain America and seemingly at Marvel Comics have come to an end. The relationship is ending in June. I don't think this is the last time we'll hear from him. I think he'll get some work here and there. And I do think when the time is right, we will likely see him return to a major character on an ongoing series. But I don't see it happening in the immediate future. And definitely want to hear what you guys think. Are you excited that Ta-Nehisi Coates is off of Captain America and is seemingly gone from Marvel Comics? I think we're going to get a lot of people that enjoy this news.
If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.